Welcome to Power Lunch Live. I'm Rhett Power, your host. It's great to be with you today. Now, this is a conversation that I've been wanting to have for a while, and I met Dave Meltzer a couple months ago in Portugal, and we're actually part of the MG 100, the 100 Coaches Program with Marshall Goldsmith. And uh, David is just an amazing human being, and somebody I think you're really going to love hearing from. Got an amazing mission to make over 1 billion people happy. And the whole point of the program is to have today's thought leaders, authors, CEOs, people doing amazing work that we can all learn from so that we can get better at what we do. That's the whole point of the program. And that's why we ask the questions we ask. That's why we're here. Now, I got to tell you a little bit about David. David is he was a co-founder of Sports One Marketing, or is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing. Formerly served as the CEO of the renowned Lee and Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration of Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money, right? We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes too. He's a three-time international best-selling author. He's a top 100 business coach, executive producer of Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch, and host of the Top Entrepreneurship Podcast, the Top Entrepreneur Podcast, The Playbook. His newest book is Game Time Decision Making, and he's been named the Sports Humanitarian of the Year through from Variety Magazine, awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. And I talked about his mission of to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. David, we were just talking before you came on. You got something pretty incredible to add to that list of honors. And I think you got to
Sure.
put it out there. And I don't know how you do that. I mean, it's like,
I got to tell a story.
yeah,
When I was 10 years old, I moved to San Diego. I actually met my later to be wife around the same time, but I was not as academic as my siblings because I had no patience. In those days, they didn't know what ADHD was, but my mom's solution wasn't Ritalin. It was running around the block. So she would time me as fast as I could to run around the block. And then to keep me out of trouble, there was this in San Diego program called Junior Achievement. And you picked a project to learn to make money. It was a financial literacy entrepreneurial program, one of the first of its kind, which has later evolved to one of the biggest NGOs in the world. I think it's the 7th largest charity in the world, over 100 million alumnus around the world. And I was blessed to be a chancellor of Junior Achievement University worldwide, and brought in some of our MG 100 people, but likes of Brian Tracy and Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Sharon Lecter, Mira Morrissey, the list goes on. And they nominated and elected me the chief chancellor of Junior Achievement University, which was one of the biggest honors I've ever received, to be the chief chancellor of such an amazing organization. I found out yesterday that honor came with a cherry on top, that I never could have imagined, being a poor kid with a single mom, 6 kids, a mom who packed my dinner in a paper bag so she could work 2 jobs. One as a 2nd grade teacher, one filling up turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards. And here I received an email yesterday that said that Junior Achievement Worldwide, that we have been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize. If you don't think that we live in the greatest country in the world, that we can manifest anything we desire, then please follow my story, learn the lessons of being promoted and protected by things that other people may have quit upon, but not me. I am promoted and protected by something far greater than me, that loves me, obviously more than even my mom loves me. And this is one of those pinch me moments in my life.
I think what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes is sort of a great segue to that sort of what just happened yesterday, right? And talk a little bit about. I mean, you're the poster. If somebody's thinking about the American dream, right? You're the poster child for it. And I wonder, and I wish we had this wonderful conversation in Portugal. I wish that we would have been able to catch on film and on recording. But you had it all. You have it all. I mean, you had the houses and the cars and the lifestyle that was like the envy of it. And I wonder today, are we striving for the right things? Are we striving? Are we looking for the right things in success? I mean, talk about that. Talk about your journey a little bit, because your journey is
Yeah.
remarkable, right? And this transformation that you've had from striving for probably the money and the success to striving for. I mean, your goal now is to make people happy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's way different. That's like way different.
Way different. But yet money plays an integral part, and so does faith. So here's how I explain it today. I was born into a world of not enough. Not enough of anything. Why me? Why didn't I have a dad who would go to the baseball games with me and live in my house? Why didn't I have a car? Why didn't I have a house? Why me? Why me? And because of that, I learned a lesson called try me. And I learned that I could make what was needed to make other people fulfill what was missing. Meaning I was happy, but I wasn't happy when I caught my mom crying because we didn't have enough food, or I couldn't go to summer camp, or a dishwasher, or a car broke down. So I said in my head at 5 years old, I'm going to make a lot of money because I'm going to buy my mom a house and a car. I'm going to complete the happiness, complete the circle of happiness by having money. And lo and behold, through the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, by developing skills and knowledge combined with this desire to help other people, I moved into a new world of just enough. I became a millionaire 9 months out of law school, a multimillionaire before I was 30. Not only did I have everything that I ever dreamed of, but I had access because I then ran the most notable sports agency in the world. So I had things that even billionaires couldn't afford to do. So not only did I have everything, the wife that I dreamed of from the fourth grade, money, all of these things. And what I learned, though, I wasn't happy, not because of money, because I didn't have the right reason. See, when I was trying to make money to buy my mama car, that's the right reasons. When I had money to buy things I didn't need, to impress people I didn't like, that was not the right reasons. And so I had to transform, and I lost everything and learned these lessons by losing over $100 million, that there was a whole nother, a world of more than enough of everything. I wasn't something happened to me like in the world of not enough. I wasn't selfish in a quid pro quo value, zero sum game where if I give to receive, that somebody had to lose if I won. If I received, I felt guilty because that means someone had to give up. No, there's a value add game, not a zero sum game of more than enough of everything for everyone. And money still plays a key component, because I have learned that money does not buy love and it does not buy happiness, but it allows you to shop. It is the currency of this world. And if you shop for the right things, for community centers, for, programs, for, helping people with food and housing and cars and giving scholarships, whatever it is, if buy the right things for the right reasons, you'll be happy. I'll give you a good example, Rhett, real quick. One of my favorite stories. I'm coaching this kid, and he becomes very wealthy, inner city, at-risk kid, minority, and he buys a Lambo. And I can tell you, I've never been more disappointed in one of my that I coach, right? First thing is, with the millions that he makes, that I work so hard to help him, empower him, he buys a Lambo. So I call him up in my arrogant ignorance. Dude, do I not teach you not to buy you don't need to impress people you don't like? There could not be a more classic example of a Lambo, you moron. And he says, Mr. Meltzer, respectfully, I did exactly what you taught me. I said, no, you're not getting, it's not what I say, it's what you hear, brother. You're not doing what I'm teaching. He said, Mr. Meltzer, I bought this car not to impress anyone. This car not to make me happy. I bought this car when come up from the inner city that looked like me. And they asked me, are you a ball player? Are you are you a musician? I look at them and I tell them, no, I read books and teach people. Mr. Meltzer, I Lambo for the right reasons. And this makes me happy. And I get choked up because I myself, it's not what you buy, it's the reasons that you buy it that make you happy.
Amen to that. It sounds like what you filled your heart with now, though, and your mind with now, though, is love, um, and purpose. What was you breezed over the loss?
I'm protecting myself.
Well, you don't have to, man.
Yeah.
We don't want you to. How did you, go from the loss to? I mean, how did you make that switch? Because I mean, something triggered it. Something
My
triggered. So
wife.
yeah, talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years before I actually ended up going bankrupt, which is, I think, part of the American dream, right? That not only did I grow up with nothing and make everything, but then I live in a country where I lost everything and made it all back. That gives you the depth and knowledge of how blessed we are in the American dream. But for me, it was 2 years before I lost everything, when my wife told me that I wasn't doing the right things, that I was paying attention to my family, to the activity I got paid for, which other people call work or a job, and I wasn't taking care of myself health wise, that I was partying too much. It was when my wife, when I came home from lying to her, I'd gone to the Grammy Awards with a rapper named Little John, lied to my wife, told her I was at a business meeting. I came home completely intoxicated and high. And at 5:30 in the morning, my wife was waiting for me to tell me she wasn't happy, to tell me I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, or I was going to be dead. And I sat there in anger. I yelled at her. I told her, "How dare you talk to me? Look around you. Who do you think made all this happen?" And I went to bed even more upset. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was going to steal her joy and love by taking all of our money and leaving. And then I looked over in the closet and my life would change forever, because I saw a jacket that my father had given to me when I was 30 years old, 8 years earlier. He had given it to me and it had no pockets. And he told me, "Hang this jacket in the closet, son, because you're just like me. You think money buys love and happiness. This is going to remind you you can't take anything with you when you're gone. I want you buried in that jacket. I want this to remind you that you're not going to be the richest man in the cemetery." And I looked at that jacket and I thought, I don't hate my father, because that's what I told him when he gave me the jacket. I don't hate my best friend Rob, who told me I was lying to myself and and not doing the right things. And I certainly didn't hate my wife. At that moment, I realized I hate myself. I hate myself. I'm a liar. I'm a cheater. I'm a manipulator, overseller, back end seller. I hate myself. And I'd better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. And that's where that love and purpose came in, because I taught myself gratitude is who I was, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication. And I built over 16 years an entire programmatic way to live your life with those values and daily practices, so that you can do three things: make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
I love that. I mean, would those be your three? If you had to put three words into your values now, would those be the three words? Like
Yeah, those would be the
accountability.
three words of value: is, create abundance, make money so it comes through you for others, and
Uh-huh.
then be happy, have fun. And I think that's simply, and the way to do that's real simple as well. There's three things: do your best, learn lessons, and have fun doing it. Those are the three ways that you make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
I do a lot of it. I mean, you and I are both coaches, and I work in that accountability space a lot. What does accountability mean to you?
Oh, that's easy. Two things. One, what did I do to attract this to myself? And two, what am I supposed to learn from it? It's different from liability. There's no blame, shame, or justification. I still believe in liability, meaning if someone crashes a car in back of me, I'm not telling the judge or the insurance company I'm liable, or I'm not. They're liable and there's laws, but I'm going to ask myself, beyond collecting for the damages, I'm going to ask myself, what did I do to attract this car hitting me? And what am I supposed to learn from it? How am I being protected and promoted by a car hitting me? Because I know I am, because I am almost all the time living in faith that there's something bigger than me that loves me more than my mom loves me.
Right. I mean, that's almost an internal, right? That's an internal way to live your life. I mean, to me, accountability is this internal thing, right? It's almost an ethos. It's almost um, it's doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
It's an internal way to sort of look at yourself and take stock that I'm responsible for everything around me, no matter what, right? And how I react, how I respond, how I do something, how I approach something. What do you think the difference between accountability and responsibility are?
Very good. So accountability is one of allowance, right? What did I do to attract this, allow it, assume it into my life, knowing that thoughts come first, knowing that I give meaning to everything that I see. Responsibility still falls within the realm of scarcity that somehow, right, I feel as if I'm superior, inferior, separate from things or places or people. Therefore, because of the separation of inferiority or superiority, that I somehow am responsible for something else. This is a form of liability. It exists in this pragmatic world. We're responsible for our children. We're responsible for paying taxes. We're responsible for keeping promises. But at a different realm, a different speed, a different frequency, which I call the speed of thought, at the higher frequency or currency of faith, I am only responsible for clearing the interference between me and everything, only responsible for understanding I already am happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? I'm responsible for clearing the interference, not responsible for someone else's success or someone else showing up or some other liability that exists in the pragmatic world of quantities and time, and all of these things that are important in this lifetime. I think it's important for people to realize that this lifetime, this journey, only one thing dies: limitations. See, you'll kill off the limitations and then you'll realize what you already are. And I think responsibility falls within the context of those lessons about clearing the interference, about who you really are. And it's an ego-based consciousness responsibility, believe it or not. A need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful, worried. All of these stem from somehow we're responsible or have power over someone else. We don't. We are accountable. Therefore, accountability is complete control and freedom, not responsibility and liability.
That's wow. That's super super deep and profound, and I one of the best answers I've ever heard to that question. Um, wow. Okay. Uh, do you see yourself as courageous?
Oh, I see myself as persistent. And
Okay.
I see myself as consistently persistent. I talk about the extra mile, and I think people who go the extra mile usually go there every once in a while. And that makes the extra mile really busy. It's really competitive. And I think we don't understand through this courage, the courage to be consistent and persistent. Those who go the extra mile most of the time or all the time live in a world of non resistance, of effortlessness, of what I call the empty mile. And, courage is the identification of the ego and the ability to stop. I know it's different than what most people would perceive as courage, where I'm going to fight this, resist it, go over it, under it, through it, around it. For me, courage is derived, this consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential is derived from the ability to identify the ego that edges God out of my life or goodness out of my life or gold out of my life, to identify the needs of the ego. And instead of resisting, to stop, to breathe, drop, and to remember, and recollect the oneness of what we're connected and collected through, to roll in the right trajectory of what we want instead of accelerating in the wrong direction. Courage is the ability to identify that which we're afraid of and stop, not resist.
That's amazing. And you know Steve Rogers, don't you?
Of course, yeah.
Did you read? Okay, that a lot of what Steve talks about in his book. But and just again, just an amazing way to live and to think and to pursue the right way to pursue what you want in life, right? Um, over 1 billion people happy. What does that mean?
So it means to create a collective consciousness. I believe there's about 8 billion people in the world, and one particle of light overcomes millions of particles of darkness. So that if I can empower over 1 billion people, I can create a collective consciousness that will change the world. And that consciousness will be one of abundance, happiness. How do I do that? Well, looking at our M100 group, for example, if I can find 1,000 people like you, Rhett, and I would just have to tell you, talk about asking the right questions. I could be interview with you all day and night, because I've been with Katie Couric and James Brown and some of the greatest. I just think you are an amazing person of interest. You are more interested than interesting, and the questions you ask are incredible because they bring the best out of people. But moreover, it's part of my collective consciousness is to empower 1,000 people like you with different answers, different ideas, because I know that in your lifetime, you'll empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000. And then I just use old fashioned math, Einstein math. 1,000 people times 1,000 people is a million. 1 million people times 1,000 people is a billion. If I can get to, in my lifetime, over 1 billion people through people like you, we can create a collective consciousness that will allow people to live in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone, where everyone's making a lot of money, helping each other, helping a lot of people, and happy, having a lot of fun, not taking themselves so seriously.
What do you do to put that smile on your face every day and to make somebody else's day? How do you do that? I know we got to run. I know, but we got to get you out of
That is
here.
a great last question. So what I do is utilize the common denominator of happiness. No matter how rich or how poor you are, how sick or how well, how tall or short, black or white, what religion you believe in, the common denominator of happiness is gratitude. And so I do something for 0.1 seconds every day that's completely free. I have complete coherence of it. I remember to do it every day in the morning. I remember to do it every day at night. I say thank you. And then I spend the rest of the day trying to find the same gratitude in everything and everyone, the light, the love, and the lessons. I have a 14-day gratitude challenge for this reason. It helps me change the world. I'd love it if people reach out to me. My name's right there, david@dmeltzer.com. It's free, takes 0.1 seconds. Join the gratitude challenge, change the world with the common denominator of happiness, gratitude.
And we'll put that site. It's on the website there, right? We'll put that out there so people can go straight to it from this talk. So thank you so much. And I'm guessing they can get the books there.
Free for all your audience. I sign my books, pay for the books, pay for shipping. All you got to do is email me, david@dmeltzer.com. And Rhett, let's do this again, my friend. I love seeing you and talking to you, even virtually. It was even more powerful, by the way. We were in the biggest stadium in Portugal, and we were it was amazing. The man sat there, and he held the greatest court in venue at the biggest venue at the biggest show in all of Europe, Web Summit, and hopefully I'll see you at Collision or some other show around the world.
No, we're going to be at Collision. No doubt about it. We'll definitely
make sure you book me, Bubba, because I cannot miss out on some Rhett power.
That's 100%. We're going to do that again.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much.
Be good. Thank you. And thank you for being here on Power Lunch Live. We'll be back next week with another great show. But until then, be good, be safe, and be happy. All right. Have a good day.